Hello everyone, welcome for joining this presentation entitled Manifestation of Empowerment in Mernissi's Dreams of Trespass, Tales of a Harem Girlhood. My name is Bochra Laghssais and I am a PhD student of International Peace, Conflict and Development Studies at the University Jaume in Castellon. My presentation is going to be structured as follows. First part is going to be theoretical and second part is going to be practical. First of all, I would like to introduce Fatima Mernissi. She's a Moroccan sociologist and writer. She was born in Fez in 1940 and passed away in Rabat in 2015. Mernissi grew up in a harem, as she described in her book Dreams of Trespass, and she was among the first generation of girls to access formal education in Morocco. She is a pioneer in the field of Islamic feminism and advocating for girls and social justice for women and girls in Morocco and beyond. She pursued her higher education in Mohammed V University and later at the Sorbonne University, and she pursued her PhD studies in the United States. Among her publications is Beyond the Veil, Shahrazad Goes West, etc. First sentence in the book is, I was born in a harem in 1940s in Fez. So the harem, I want to explain here the very origin of the word harem in Arabic word is harem, from which the word haram is derived, and it refers to sin, the dangerous frontier where the sacred law and the pleasure collide. Haram is what the religious law forbids, and it's the opposite of halal, what is permissible. Harem is a domestic space also and part of a house that is reserved for the women in a Muslim family from which non-family members are excluded. Harem also can be referring to female members of the family. For example, this is the harem of this person, which is usually men, and talking about Muslim families, we are talking about polygamy in some cases. So this private space is for maintaining the modesty, privilege, and protection of women. The structure of the harem is and its extent of monogamy or polygamy varies depending on the family personalities and socio-economic status and local customs. The very core of the harem is based on patriarchal values, which defined by Joseph, patriarchy is an equal system of greater rights for males and elders, and the justification of those rights using kinship values that are usually supported by religion. And patriarchy is male dominance, which does not have one form or one side as the domestic, but it is perpetuated in various forms within all aspects of any society. Here, through patriarchal system, the traditional father has authority and responsibility and expect respect and unquestioning. So Muna El-Tahawi defines patriarchy as an octopus, and each of its 8 tentacles represent various forms of oppression and utilize it to maintain male dominance. So patriarchy within the Moroccan society, as we are talking now about the book and the Morocco, Fatima Siddiqui bring into perspective that patriarchy in Morocco is linked to space. What is public being male authoritative and what is private being female and non-authoritative. So, and Amal Rassam joined in the same perspective as saying that the subordination of women to men in Morocco is characterized by public segregation. And this segregation is controlled by such code of honor and shame, a code whose outstanding features are to maintain virginity before marriage and strict fidelity after it. So here, described in her book Women and Domestic Power, she said that men have complete authority over women who in return expect to obey them. However, a close examination to the structure of the family, structure of the household, reveals the presence of considerable measure of unassigned power. That is to say, that women in Morocco are considered to be morally intellectual but physically inferior to men. And we are going to see some examples in the book of men in the harem enjoy various privileges. For example, in chapter 2 was only devoted for the men's salon, and there was not mention of any property of women, and even if claiming that the private is for women. Men's salon was the largest and most elegant salon of all. Men dining room, where they eat, listen to the news and settle business deals and play cards. The men were only the one in the house who have access to the huge cabinet with the radio and etc. They have men only have the key. The Fatima's father and his brother, but women were curious and they managed to have an illegal key, a copy of the men's salon, so they can access when men are not in the house. They can access to the radio and everything. So Mernissi in this paragraph says, the problem with entertainment, fun and foolishness at our house was that they could easily be missed. They were never planned in advance unless cousin Shama or Aunt Habiba were in charge. And even then they were subject to serious space constraint. That is to say, I used this picture here from the book, and it's a courtyard. And in this courtyard, you see two women running. That is to say, when their space is invaded, they feel frustrated. When men are around, they enter the house, they have to run to hide in their rooms or elsewhere where they are not seen. The author described, Mernissi describes the courtyard was too public and that women did not enjoy too much freedom. When the women would just start to have good time, the men would come with their project, such as discussing political issues, business matter, or listening to the radio, debating, etc. And these activities women were not involved in them. We talked earlier as Mernissi being pioneer on Islamic feminism. Here, Mona El-Tahawi says, I want patriarchy to fear feminism. So here we have feminism as an alternative way to destroy patriarchy. And the emergence of Islamic feminism, as many Islamic feminist scholars says that, such as Margaret Badran, she says that, she argues that in her article, Islam, Patriarchy and Feminism in the Middle East, that the rights of women within Islam is somehow fulfilled when Islam came into being in the 7th century. One of its major aims was to free women from oppression and segregation of the pre-Islamic era. And it also came with updated inheritance rights, reduction of polygamy to maximum 4 wives, and the rights of women to participate in bay'ah, which is the election of the political, of the community leader. This is like a sort of political role that women had. But unfortunately, after the Prophet's death, peace be upon him, men and the theological class misinterpreted the Islamic regulation and provided lengthy commentaries in the Quran and the Hadith to defend patriarchy and threaten the rights that Islam granted women. Here, the urge of Islamic feminism is as a response to these injustices imposed upon women in the name of religion by the masculine system. This project aims to protect and defend women within doors of Islam by rereading and reinterpreting the sacred text and providing them with feminist-friendly meanings. In this framework as well, Asma al-Marabit goes in deep explanation of Islamic feminism, and it's the word empowerment is used by in different contexts and by different organizations and in literature, and it is found in many fields of education, social work, psychology, etc. And the idea of power is at the root of the term empowerment. Power can be perceived in operation through various ways. For example, power over, power to, or power within. And the kind of power that that this presentation or this paper is working with is power within, that revolves around the young girl Fatima Mernissi, surrounded by strong illiterate women such as her grandmother Yasmina, her mother, her cousin Shama, and her aunt Habiba. So, who are empowered through various ways to have dreams and to be powerful and to always look beyond the veil and beyond the doors. So this picture is from the book, and I'm analyzing it as two women approaching the doors and having been empowered to look beyond these walls and to reach for further opportunities in life and pursue their dreams and their career paths. Among the ways Mernissi and her was empowered by her female relatives in the harem is storytelling. And tradition of storytelling dates back almost 100 years, and hikayat is used as a way to pass cultural beliefs such as moral lessons to children, and as a way also of entertainment to people on long winter nights. Some stories were recorded and others were passed on orally. So in the book and the study, storytelling is a way in which Yasmina, Fatima's grandmother, and Mrs. Tezi, Fatima's mother, passed on moral and empowerment messages to Fatima as they taught her how to scream and protest, just as she learned how to walk and talk. Mernissi's mother started revealing the mystery of 8001 Night, where Shahrazad, the protagonist, the young bride, and the storyteller who was married to the King Shahrayar, who had the reputation of a misogynist views toward women, when he found his wife having affair with one of his guards. So he killed them both, and upon that he take revenge on young virgins each day. So when Shahrazad heard the story, she agreed to marry him to change his behavior, let's say. So she used storytelling. She used to tell him stories every night, and she would keep the story in the middle, so he would be anticipated to know what's next to the story. So she uses the power of words and the power of storytelling to change this misogynist king. And Shahrazad, being smart and powerful woman, Fatima's mother wants her to be just like Shahrazad, to be very powerful by playing with her words and choosing her words, and and to be happy. Here she says, this is a passage from Mernissi's book. She says, "You and your sister will get good education and you will walk freely in the streets and discover the world. I want you to be independent and happy." So she stresses the idea of independence and happiness. And another way through which Mernissi's ladies passed on the empowerment to Fatima is theater and storytelling. So Mernissi writes that both Aunt Habiba and Cousin Shama transformed their feminist thoughts through theater and as a way of empowerment. She got to attend these sessions on a daily basis, which shaped her character and vision. Shama, the young cousin in the book, admired strong feminists such from the East and dreamed and wished for their freedom. For instance, Asmahan, the singer who wore Western dresses and put flowers in her hair, sang and danced romantically. In some afternoon, when the men left the house, Shama and the rest of the women would jump to the radio, unlock it, and with their illegal key, and start searching for music of Asmahan or Kulthum. So here in the passage, as you can see, I will only read the highlighted form. A woman could have both love and career and insist in having full conjugal life. Here they are talking about Asmahan. And so Mernissi says here, Shama's theater provided wonderful opportunities for all of us to discover and show our talents and overcome our shyness and develop some self-confidence. So here theater is a way to be self-independent and self-confident. Also, another way is to implant dreams on young girls as they growing up. Aunt Habiba, she insisted that women should have dreams and should look beyond the harem life. Dignity is to have a dream, a strong one, which gives you a vision, a world where you have a place where whatever it is you have to contribute makes a difference. So the importance of dreams again is repeatedly throughout the book and highly emphasized. These are some passages from the book, and it says, I will read, life is looking good for women now. You are going to be a powerful woman, aren't you? These are questions asked by Fatima's mother. I would be so upset if you aren't. Here, again, the second paragraph, she says, your grandmother and I have suffered enough from this head covering business. We know it doesn't work. I want my daughter to stand up with their heads erect and in the light of what we have seen. Fatima Mernissi summarized her childhood memories in the book of Dreams of Trespass, Tales of a Harem Childhood, through which she bravely unveils the realities and the conditions of Moroccan women living within the harem. She allowed the readers to look beyond the veil on the walls and gates and to learn more about male and female dynamics and interaction within a harem by telling her childhood story, including many stories of her female relatives. Thank you very much for listening and participating in this presentation.